Before embarking on his visit to India to attend the G20 summit, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak addressed his ministers on the issue of the pending free trade agreement with India, setting the stage for crucial trade talks with India. He made it clear that any trade agreement would only be accepted if it truly benefits the whole of the United Kingdom. Now, according to a spokesperson for Prime Minister Sunak, negotiations for a free trade deal between India and the UK have been making progress. Both nations have significant interests at stake. India sees this trade agreement as a critical step in expanding its export opportunities, while the UK, eager to diversify its trade portfolio after leaving the European Union, anticipates broader access for its products, including whiskey, premium cars and legal services. Despite the optimism surrounding these talks, several significant issues remain unresolved. These include intellectual property rights, rules of origin and an investment treaty. Notably, campaigners have expressed concern that the UK might demand provisions that could potentially harm India's generic drugs industry and lead to increased costs for consumers. Let's go back to Shri to understand this story better. Shri, even though both sides say that they have been working hard towards arriving at this deal, but clearly there are many hindrances at the moment because these efforts have been made for a while now. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was actually Rishi Sunak's predecessors who were expected to seal this deal with India, but it's not yet seen the light of day. So what are the primary concerns on both sides, and really how much longer do you think, realistically speaking, it could actually take for this deal to become a reality?
So Neha, actually these talks have been going on from the time of the former Prime Minister Theresa May, it has carried on since. But I think Mr. Sunak, to be fair to him, carries a tremendous burden on his shoulder, not just as a Prime Minister, but also as a man of Indian origin and as someone who's married into the first family of Indian software industry. So I think it's a little unfair that the people in UK expect that he should be able to deliver what others have not managed to do, because the fundamental issue, the fundamental problem, Neha, which defines these trade talks, this is a free trade agreement we're talking about. This is like giving a free hand to a country, and there are very few countries with which we have FTAs. So the implication is this: the problem which has been dogging these talks is that the UK still seems to think that it is an empire, a superpower, which is talking down to, maybe an emerging, a poor India. But that is not the case any longer. Very soon we are going to be far bigger than UK. If in the nominal terms, we are already bigger than them. So, and we will be the third largest economy sooner or later. So I think the UK needs to realize that. And the products in which it wants the duties to be brought down are products like whiskey, cars, then legal services. Now, as far as India is concerned, our commitment is to the poor of the nations, like people who are suffering because of our tariffs. So our commitment would be to those people first. Now, whiskey is not consumed by poor people. Cars are not driven by poor people. Legal services, again, not consumed by a lot of poor people. So, to be honest, I don't see there is great urgency on India's part to actually sign this FTA. On the other hand, UK is far more keen because they have left, the European Union. Brexit has impacted them. Now they need a market like India to be able to sell their goods. But I think what would be recommended to UK would be to treat India at a more, at the level that it deserves, and not try to talk down or suggest that we are maybe a poorer, a smaller economy, and therefore, we should defer to the UK. I think those days, unfortunately, are over, and India needs to be dealt with at a term that it thinks is fair and deserved.
Absolutely. So, we may have to wait a while to see this deal actually becoming a reality. For now, of course, the focus is on the G20 summit.